All right, so we're gonna make our wedges. We're making them out of oak, and we have this oak stair tread here that we got from the home center. And I cross-cut a 2-inch piece off of the edge of it, so you're cross-cutting it. You're not cutting along the grain. And this is what's gonna be used to make our wedges. We've moved over to this bandsaw because the Rikon does not have a miter gauge. It went missing, maybe it never existed, we don't know. But we have to go to this bandsaw because it has a miter gauge. And that's this little doodad right here that allows you to cross-cut safely. And so we're gonna take the miter gauge 3 degrees this way, and that's gonna cut our triangular wedges. So I'll show you how it's done. All right, so I'm gonna start cutting these wedges. It's a very repetitive process. So you cut one wedge, flip it over, cut another wedge, flip it over, and just do that back and forth. And I'm gonna cut off the first end here and throw it away, but then I'm gonna get into the process. And you're gonna continue to do this until the piece gets decently small. We're not making wedges out of this entire block. You do not need to be up here cutting wedges like this. We wanna stay safe, and we wanna leave the shop with all of our fingers. Wedge time. So our stair tread was 1 inch thick, which means these wedges are 1 inch wide, and these are for our leg tenons because we drilled 1 inch wide mortises. But we know that our long sticks and short sticks are 5/8 inch. So we need to cut ourselves some 5/8 inch wedges as well. So I have the bandsaw fence set up here to 5/8, and I'm going to take my little push stick and I'm gonna feed this through and make our 5/8 inch wedges. So hard to say. Stop breaking! Kale and I, on our second day of filming, have been afflicted by evil forces the entire day. Snakes have started manifesting physically in my home. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're only building one chair now. It was a nice idea that me and Kale each made our own chair, but we're on a very tight schedule here, and that is just not happening. The delusion. Delusion. Peace and order has been restored. All right. The time has come to glue in these legs. So we're gonna go over our little checklist before we actually get into the glue up. We're being very responsible. So we have obviously our hammer here, 4 legs, at least 4 1-inch wedges, but I have a couple extra here in case some of them split while we're hammering them in. And then we have our PVA glue, a glue brush, toothbrush for cleanup, and some water and a wet rag. And also, I've used some of the plywood scrap to bring this higher up off the bench because when the tenons go through, they're going to be sticking out a little bit, so we need to elevate it so there's room to do that. So, Kale, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about any specific order here because there's no stretchers, so we can just start willy-nilly.
Yeah, and so Kale's gonna start by putting PVA glue in the mortises and using the glue brush to get all the walls of the mortise covered with the PVA glue, and then they're gonna do the same thing for the tenons. And so Kale is putting in the first leg, and they're gonna rotate the kerf so it's perpendicular to the grain, and we do this so that when we're wedging it up, we don't split the seat. And it's time to hammer it home. And so to ensure the best possible joint, we want to hit the leg into the mortise until the leg stops moving. So you may think it's fully secured in there, but hit it. If it moves even a little bit, hit it again until it stops moving. And that's how you ensure that it's going to be fully locked in. And we have these hard shoulders here that we cut at the bandsaw. And since the seat is Douglas fir, which is very soft compared to this oak, we want to hit it so much that the shoulder starts biting into the seat. And yeah, don't forget Kale's orienting the kerf.
Yeah, perpendicular to the grain.
Yeah, I'm helping. Okay, and we still have all our layout lines on the bottom here and the top. Usually we would clean those up or sand them off, but we're painting this chair, so it's really not a big deal.
Okay, going in.
All right, so Kale got these all glued up. They're gonna do the last cleanup of that glue squeeze out, and then we're gonna flip it over and wedge our tenons. And now it's really starting to like look like a chair.
Yay!
She's funky.
Yeah.
She's fresh.
Girl, she's flirty.
Okay, so Kale's cleaning up as much of the glue that they can on the top here, because before we wedge these up, we're gonna trim down these tenons just a little bit. We want them to be protruding about 1/4 of an inch. And we have some spare underlayment here with a hole cut through, and this is gonna keep our saw a little bit above, because we're not flush cutting them. So, yeah, get to it, Kale. Sorry, that sounded really like demanding.
I found it motivational.
Yeah. So when we inserted that tenon, the tension caused the wedge to close. So take your chisel and just give it a couple whacks, and that'll give you an entry point to put your wedge in. So we have our 1-inch wedges. Kale's gonna paint some glue on them, both sides, and they're gonna stick the wedges in the curves and drive them home. Hey, first one done.
You ready?
Yeah, Kale's tagging me out, or tagging me in.
Tagging you in.
So I'm gonna wedge up these front legs. Something about wedging tenons is that you can actually listen to when it's fully seated and when you're done and you need to stop hammering. The sound when the wedge has bottomed out, it's a bit, I don't know, what do I want to say? It's like less hollow. Sounds a bit more dense. How would you describe it?
I would say the tone gets deeper.
Yeah.
So like once it reaches this like flat tone. Snap. Oh, that one went in there.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna